What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Mattel Masters of Universe Origins Battle for Eternia 4-pack. So really cool here. We get a pack of characters that we probably wouldn't get otherwise, but it's nice that they're all included here in a 4-pack. We can, of course, open up and see all 4 figures. So we have the Paragon Champion, Skel-Knight, Horde Revenant, and Pit Warden. So each for the different factions we see on Eternia, with, of course, like our Royal Guards of Eternia, Skeletor's Warrior, Horde X Warriors, and King Hiss's Warriors. So all 4 of those look really cool. Nice designs for each of those as well. We can spin around to the back of the box and see what they're going to look like, our artwork and stuff, and some of their stories. So that's mostly what I'm going off because I don't really know anything about these otherwise, but they do all look really cool and I'm excited for that. And of course, we'll have to put them with each of their factions, but this just looks like a really cool 4-pack that I'm excited to check out. So let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off with our Paragon Champion, which is the highest order of knights in Eternia and greatest protectors of the royal palace. They are known for their honor, virtue, bravery, and skills in battle. So really cool to get these. Of course, have a lot of inspiration from like the palace guards we've had before, as well as Duncan, our man-at-arms. So a lot of similar designs there. And of course, just being a part of the royal palace. So it looks good with the more like man-at-arm helmet design there. So we get the white helmet with the gold designs. Looks really good. Of course, can see the face of our guy underneath there. Just looks good overall with his helmet design there. Then we get his outfit, again, very similar design we've seen with like man-at-arms and stuff, although he has the chest plate that looks like King Randor's, and of course a cape very similar to King Randor's as well. So we get the cape hanging there off of his back, but again in a white and gold. Just looks really nice and regal. Always love white and gold together. Mostly black body underneath, so we get the all black design there. Has some armor, of course, like I said, very similar to what we see with man-at-arms there, like up on the shoulders and stuff, and gets a little forearm guard there in gold. Then we get his underwear piece with the brown fur and gold belt, black leggings going down into the shin guards there with the white, again look very much like man-at-arms, into the brown boots there on his feet. So it just looks good overall. Love the white and gold design that they went with this. But movement-wise, of course, it'll be all the movements we've seen before, but head will twist all the way around, look down that far, look up that far, so same as always. Shoulders will come up now, maybe harder with this armor on him, but should still come up to 90, and of course rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint there that bends pretty much to 90 with rotation in it. Wrist will twist all the way around and flex back and forth. We get the twist around at the waist. The hips will come up that far and out to the side. Get the single knee joint back that far with rotation. And of course there's a shin twist at the top of the boot, but with the armor may not twist around there, sort of twist all the way around there. And then to the foot will rock back and forth and twist side to side. So yeah, all the same MOTU movements we've seen before, so nothing surprising with this at all. And of course all the figures will pretty much be the same today. But for his weapon, he comes with the hammer, so we get this nice big hammer. We saw this with our Turtles of Grayskull. The April Sorceress came with this. It's supposed to be like a big camera lens or whatever, but nice big hammer here that we can put into his hand. So there he is holding the hammer. Of course, it's not really to get it easy into his hands at all, and he doesn't really hold on to it too well, so not the easiest there for him, unfortunately. But there we have our Paragon Champion. Look really cool, though, with that giant hammer in his nice outfit. And, of course, he serves under King Randor, so here we have our King Randor. So we can have those two together now to join the battle for Eternia. So looks really cool overall for the Paragon Champion. Just love the colors most of all about him. And next we have the Skel-Knight, which after dealing with the failure of his stooges for long enough, Skeletor creates an army of swordsmen from raw energy from Havoc magic. So this looks really cool. Nice design overall. Of course, with the design and colors and everything, it reminds me a lot more of like the 2000X designs as opposed to the original. So we could probably use that 2000X Skeletor to go along with it with the army. But just looks really cool. Get this nice helmet design. Love how it has like the green paint on the skull face there. So it looks very reminiscent of Skeletor, but has the horns coming out the side of the helmet, so the all silver helmet there, a little skull design up top with a spine going down the back, and almost like an additional little face there in the back, so that all just looks really cool. Then we get the armor over here to the side, so nice in this like sort of purple sort of color, but it's got like how it's got the horns and stuff. It reminds me of like a Beast Man or something like that. Not really sure if this is reused for something, with like a jewel there in the center. He does have a lighter like purple color, almost like a lilac or something, I don't know what you'd call it, but just a real light purple sort of color for the body. Then we get some nice designs on his arms, so almost like armored up arms there, but just a part of the body. Then we get the skirting on his waist, nice little skull design, and all sorts of the leather design stuff hanging down with his black underwear underneath. Of course, that purple continued down the legs to the boots. We get the boot design. I think we've seen this before maybe, but in that purple color again, all the way down there to the boots on his feet. So it just looks really cool. Nice, awesome, cool design. This is probably one of my favorite designs from this whole box, but like I said, just with the way it looks, it seems like it's for the more modern stuff. But movement-wise, the head will twist all the way around. It can look down that far and up that far. So again, about the same movement. So of course, the horns keep getting caught on all the spikes. Shoulders will come up to 90 and rotate around. Single elbow joint with rotation. The wrist twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Then we get the twist at the waist. The hips will come up and out to the side. Single knee joint back with rotation. Shin twist there in the boot. And the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So good overall for that once again. And then of course we get his weapon, which is this nice big sword. Love that it's in the green color. Has like the more havoc staffed sort of design there with the skull, with the horns coming out to the side. Looks really cool. Just nice, awesome detailing there on the sword as well. So just looks super cool. So let's add this sword, and that just makes him look even cooler now. So like I said, already one of the coolest figures out of this pack, and it makes him look even cooler now. But like I said, we can add his leader of Skeletor. Like I said, doesn't really fit with this older design. Definitely would look better with probably the 2000X design, but there we have Skeletor now leading his Skel-Knights, which look awesome. And then moving over to the Horde, we have the Horde Revenant, which when the Valor breaks on those dedicated to resistance, Hordak swoops in to turn them into his Horde. Bound by their honor, they have no choice but to do Hordak's bidding. So these look really cool. This is probably the coolest Horde design I've seen outside of, some of the Hordaks and stuff, but just out of all the Horde characters, this definitely looks the coolest. Again, a much more modern design, but we get the red head on it there with the bat wings coming out to the side. That looks awesome. And then the head design overall looks like, a sort of robotic take on Hordak there. Just looks really cool. Of the spine going down the head there as well. Just a really awesome helmet design. Then we get the chest armor and everything with the Horde logo bat design. Of course, get the black and red. Nice light gray color on the chest there as well. Looks cool all the way around. Skirting at the waist with a little bit of that light gray. Dark gray for the arms and legs there. Black gloves on his hands and boots there on his feet with the normal Hordak looking feet. When you can tell, especially because as the Horde logos there on the shins. Just so many cool looking things about this version. Like I said, definitely the coolest looking Horde member we've got so far. For movements, the head will twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far. We get the shoulders up to 90 and rotate around. Single elbow joint with rotation, wrist twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Doing the twist around at the waist, the hips will come up a little. Of course, with the skirt, you don't get much, so up a little and out to the side. We get the single knee joint that bends back with rotation. Get the shin twist at the top of the boot and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So same movements as always once again, so no surprise with that at all. And then we can give him his weapon. So he comes with the Horde staff. So the staff there all in red, of course, fits with the Horde. I don't think it's a cool weapon, probably one of the worst weapons out of all these figures, but it's red and stuff, so it fits with the Horde. But yeah, definitely not the coolest design. Don't really know exactly what he would do with it there, because not probably the easiest to fight with or anything. But we got the Horde Revenant there, and of course we can bring in Hordak as well as the leader of the Horde, so those go together really well there. But overall, just a nice, awesome design for the Horde Revenant. And that leaves us with the Pit Warden, which are feared most amongst the Snake Men for their unrelenting viciousness and difficulty of being destroyed. Remove a head and two more shall take its place. So it has very much of a Hydra base to it. So it looks pretty cool here. Love the combination. Almost had like a two-bad design with the two different heads there. Obviously, you can take a head off and just use one head. We get this neck piece. We can obviously take the different heads off and place on here, so you get the different variations. And of course, the two heads. Love this head design. Love that it's all scaled and everything. It looks cool, much more serious and everything, with a snake design to it. The spines on the head, the red eyes just look so menacing and evil. And then we get the actual snake head on the other side, which looks cool there as well. Mouth that opens with all the teeth, red eyes as well, and just more basic green scaling there going down into the neck where it's split, so it has that split just like Two Bad had. And we get the different designs. So of course, base body here is going to be the same, just difference between the olive green and the normal green. But we get the different arm design there in that color. Get some gauntlets there on his forearms and his hands, and then go down to the underwear. Get the snake man belt there around his waist with black for underwear. Then we get the scaling going down the leg with the armor there on the thigh, going all the way down to the boots there. And again, it's like this dark teal color for a blue-green color there, and a nice boot design, which to me doesn't look familiar. I'm sure we've seen it somewhere, just doesn't look too familiar. And then we get the snake half, so we get the normal green color there on the left half of the body, starts going into the scales. Of course, we get this long snake head. We've seen this multiple times before, especially with like King Hiss designs and stuff. And that goes down the leg as well. We get the all scaled up leg till it goes down to the foot there, that we've seen this foot design as well. Of course, always makes it harder to stand with that design, but it looks good overall, just with the overall more snaky half of him there. Now for movements, we do get the heads that will twist all the way around and of course can rock. I guess they don't really rock too much. This one does, especially because as the joint there up at the neck and twist around, and then here at the joint, a little bit of rocking and will twist around. And of course, both of those rock back and forth and twist around with that. Then we get the shoulders that come up to 90 and rotate around, single elbow joint with rotation, wrist twist all the way around and flex, twist around at the waist, hips will come up that far and out to the side, single knee joint back with rotation, shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. And of course, very similar to the other side, we get the shin twist in the middle of the leg, and then the foot here that will rock back and forth and twist just a side to side that way. Doesn't really go to the rockers out to the side, unfortunately. So like I said, does make it a little bit harder to get him to stand, but get him in the right position and you shouldn't really have too many issues. But for accessories, he does come with a sword, so we get this nice sword design. Again, with the horns, I thought this maybe went to like more of the Skeletor design, but in the color that matches with the body here. So we get this design that we can put into the hand. I always hate this design because it doesn't really hold too well, but he can hold the sword like that if we want. But he also comes with a shield, so you get this nice big shield here, all in gold with the skull on it and everything. Just looks really cool. We can obviously put this into his hand as well. So there, I finally got the shield into his hand. It's pretty difficult because it keeps falling out of his hand, but there it's got a grip on it currently there, so that looks cool. And of course you can get this arm adjusted around with the extra snake, which of course I've got to point this out, does twist around, and the mouth does open and close there as well, so you get that sort of movement. So he can do that as well. I don't think he can hold the sword though, like he'd maybe open the snake's mouth and put the sword into it to hold on, but that just looks really cool overall there for the Pit Warden with all that cool design. And of course we can bring in King Hiss that he fits along with, so of course we just did one arm there with the snake design, but looks pretty cool now with the Pit Warden to go along with all of our other snake men. And there's all our figures for the Battle of Eternia 4-pack. All were really cool, like the designs of a lot of these figures. Like I said, with the Paragon Champion, love his gold and white design. Just makes him look really regal, especially coming with that big hammer. I just wish he could hold it a little better. The Skel-Knight looks awesome. Like I said, definitely my favorite figure of this whole pack. The Horde Revenant looks really cool as well. Mostly the head design is what I like most about it. Just wish he came with a cooler weapon. And then the Pit Warden looks awesome as well. Just not too crazy about the design. Just when you start to get so big and have like the snake arm and stuff, it starts taking up a lot more room than I feel it needs to. So not as cool, but still has overall a cool design to it. So an awesome 4-pack with 4 cool figures included to help build out your armies for Eternia. So let me know what you thought of this 4-pack down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know what that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.